Hi, this is Schreiben. So if you've been following me, you'll know what my first solo exhibition looked like. Although it looked really nice, it put me in about $5,000 debt. Let me elaborate. Because this is like my debut, I wanted this to be really good. I put all I got into it, all my time, effort, and yes, money. But even with all that, the result wasn't quite exciting. I spent about $8,000 and earned about $600. Yay! The show did so bad, I sold no painting at all. The profit was all from artist fee and selling posters. I got really sad and depressed. I was scrunched up in the corner of my room, crying. And suddenly, I get a phone call. This fine gentleman, he saw my exhibition and he says he likes my work and he wants me to do a solo show at his gallery. That phone call cured my depression instantly and I ran to his gallery. The space was in good condition and it smelled beautiful. I talked about how I made literally nothing on my last exhibition. Then he said he'd allow me to use the gallery for a surprisingly cheap price for 10 days under one condition. I must study the market and make something that people will actually buy. It was time to analyze my art in the eyes of a business person. Why did I flop? There's a lot of reasons. First and biggest of all, I'm not famous. I'm no Jeff Koons, I'm no Picasso. I'm just a little Asian furry and nobody knows me. And second, I'm not giving my target consumers what they want. The gallery is located here in Busan, South Korea. On my last exhibition in Busan, I saw that people come to my exhibition mostly to take a selfie. And if there is an art enthusiast, they are mostly young and they're not wealthy enough to buy a $2,500 painting on the go. I did some market research too, like what kind of painting sells well these days? What's in trend in South Korean art industry? It turns out I'm making something that nobody really wants. People these days prefer small and cheap paintings while I produce gigantic and expensive art prints. No wonder why my stuff don't sell. I honestly think the size is the biggest problem here. People here in South Korea don't really buy big art because most people live in an apartment. People just don't have big enough walls to put it. I mean, even my family live in a tiny apartment. There's no wall big enough for that. And being big not only means it's expensive to make, but it's also expensive to store, maintain, and transport. Naturally, my arts are expensive as hell, and nobody is willing to spend that much money on an art made by some nobody. That's the reality. So I decided to go completely empty-handed this time. I mean, screw those art philosophy, screw those proper narrative. I decided to drop my ego for a bit and give people what they want. So let me present the art that actually made me profit. No, this isn't all. I made 107 more of these. What I did was I made one big image and I sliced it into 108 pieces. Idea behind these are that these are corrupted data broken into 108 pieces. If you don't know the full story behind this guy, let me elaborate. This tiger's name is Javi and he lives in a metaverse. And the metaverse he's living in is breaking apart. So he travels around the metaverse and tries to fix it. Now we have this art right here. What happened is Javi finally finds the system that's causing the problem. He tries to access the error log of the system, but this error log data was corrupted. And by making a contact with this data, Javi gets corrupted too. That's what you're seeing here. Javi is broken. And as a result, all these data get jumbled up, break apart, and scatter all over the metaverse. The phrase scatter all over the metaverse takes a literal form in the art gallery where people purchase a piece of my art, which is the equivalent of Javi's broken data, and they take it home, which is the equivalent of data being scattered all over the metaverse. And what makes these special is that there's only one edition for each. It's meant to be scattered away and never to be recovered, so I made only one of each. Making these wasn't really easy. I started by buying 108 wooden panels. I got them for a really cheap price, but when I actually saw them up close, it was a mess. It's not leveled evenly, and the wood grain was too prominent for my liking. So the first thing I did was to get a wood filler and get rid of all the unevenness and the grain. I applied the wood filler paste on the panel. I then dried them overnight and sanded them. I finished it by spray painting the sides and the back of them. Now that my wooden panels are ready, I went to the print shop and printed my art. I went all in with the print last time, like I used premium paper imported from Germany and stuff like that. But this time I just used budget-friendly Japanese paper to reduce the retail price. After I printed the art, I attached adhesive to it and I glued that to the finished wooden panel. And these are certificate of authenticity. The certificate itself is quite basic, but it comes with this CD. What's in here is that I wrote the error log reporting why the metaverse is breaking apart. Then I encrypted the error log and I divided the encrypted text into 108 pieces, and each piece of the text is in here. What you also get is this card right here. It has this QR code that invites you to a Discord channel, and the password will be here, which you need to enter the server. On the server, people who own a piece of data can share what they have and discuss with others how they're gonna restore it. But it turns out the people who bought my art are not really interested in restoring the data, so I failed in that regard. Anyways, this is the finished set. You have the art, the certificate, and the CD. It has my signature on the back for authenticity. I also had a lot of fun making this poster image. My friends think this is a graphic design, but it's actually a photo. I made this image using my 108 pieces of art and this sticker and some lights. Next thing I made is this junk art right here. It all started with this piece of car I found on the street. I took it home with me because I knew I'll make use of it somehow. This thing as an object straight up reminded me of an accident like car crash, which is in line with the overall narrative of the exhibition. So I decided to make this into something that shows that Javi got himself into an accident. I made this into this art, I turned it into this sticker, and I glued it on the car with this hologram sticker. But I felt like it needed something more, so I destroyed the hologram film with a brick. And I tinted it black with acrylic paint, and as you saw, this is the final look. And I made this light up information board. It delivers generic informations like title, size, price, etc. And I almost died making this. I'm not kidding. I'm gonna skip the crafting part because I need another 20 minutes long video to explain the process. Lastly, I decided to reuse some of the assets I made for the last exhibitions like art prints, fabric posters, price tag, etc. This is the footage of me putting 108 pieces on the wall. I wish it was as easy as just clicking a line button on the Photoshop like, but we don't have that in real life, so anyways, I put certificates on the side and it was done. Here's the final look. We have a little intro to the show here, and next to that is the star of the show. It looked like this on the last day because when people make a purchase, they took their piece on the go, which slowly destroys the image, aka the metaverse. And I put this paper with number 404 written on it in the blank space to imply that the data went missing. Here's the information board, and next to that are these two. Here's Javi in an accident, and finally, the room next door looks like this. I wasn't really expecting to sell this piece, but this was the first to go. It was really special for me because this is the first time I'm putting the red sticker next to my art. Red sticker means it's sold, by the way. Revenue was way better than the last time. I spent about $450 for all the materials needed and made about $500 by only selling these little things. That's after deducting the gallery fees too. I mean, sure, someone can just tell me like, hey, it's only $50, what's the big deal? But considering the last exhibition, I made minus $7,400. It's a big jump. I've been struggling as an artist since beginning. I work 24/7 and I'm still making no money. I have to do side jobs to actually sustain my artist career, and I'm in debt. I was always like, why am I not making money? But this exhibition made me think maybe I'm taking things too seriously and I'm too stubborn about it. I was always like, I should make the biggest, most expensive art in its best possible form with the deepest meaning and philosophy, or I'm not making it at all. But now I'm thinking, why? Why not just have some fun and fool around? Although some art critics made it clear that this series is very shallow and lack artistic philosophy, but whatever. I had fun making these, and it's selling better than anything else I made by far. At the end, what people want from art is a pretty interior piece. They buy art so that they can decorate their homes or offices with it. And decorations don't need things like polished philosophy or concrete narrative. At the end, being pretty is over everything else. So if you're an artist struggling to make money like me, maybe you just need to empty your head from time to time and make something pretty. Before we wrap up, I'd like to hear from you guys too. What kind of art has worked best for you in terms of sales? How did you overcome financial challenges as a growing artist? Please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys because your story might inspire and help others that are going through similar paths, and me who are going through the similar path as you. Please let me know in the comments below. And hey, don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to my channel for more contents like this. And also follow me on Instagram or Twitter or on my webpage for real-time updates and more additional contents. Your support means the world to me. Thanks for watching and have an amazing day. Bye.